Once upon a time, in the land of turnips and jam, there was an assassin named Marissa who lived with her mom. She had trained herself in martial arts and in close combat weaponry and in stealth. And she left her mother's house one day and she hunted down Wendell, the former flute maker. And within a month he was dead. And she took back all of the instrument making equipment that he had stolen from her, but she no longer had any interest in making instruments any longer. The light in her heart had been extinguished and replaced with darkness. Her dance long forgotten in a hole in a farm in her aunt and uncle's house. And all she had on her mind was revenge. Marissa left Wendell's corpse and went from town to town seeking contracts, looking for other scoundrels, thieves, and murderers that she could track down and possibly not bring to justice, but prevent from committing any further acts of crime or violence. And one day, she entered a town that was familiar to her. It reminded her of days that she had blocked out in her memory. This was the town where she learned how to make tubas and saxophones and electric guitars. And she went to the mayor and she said to the mayor, "Who in this town needs to be killed?" And the mayor said, "Marissa, is that you?" And Marissa said, "Yes, it is I, Marissa the Assassin." And the mayor said, No, you're Marissa the flute maker." She said, "I was Marissa the flute maker, now I am Marissa the Assassin." No, I cannot hire you to be an assassin. You are Marissa the flute maker, our flute maker. You gave me my first tuba. I cannot have you kill in my town. It wouldn't be right. So Melissa camped in the woods outside of the town that night, and she built a fire, and she followed every safety precaution to make sure it didn't spread into the woods, and she meditated, and she thought, and she did some self-reflection, and that night she went to sleep, and she had a dream, and she was walking through the woods, and a fox came upon her, and the fox said, "Kill the mayor." And Marissa was very confused. But she kept on walking, and then a wolf came upon her, and the wolf said, "Kill the mayor." And Marissa didn't want to kill the mayor. The mayor hadn't done anything wrong. Just upset her slightly, but nothing illegal, nothing violent. So Marissa kept walking, and then there was a bear, and the bear said, "Kill the mayor." And then Marissa woke up, and Marissa decided that she shouldn't listen to that dream because it maybe meant that something had gone too far. So she woke up and she saw the ashes of her campfire, and she made herself some breakfast, and she sat down and she looked at, oh hey, there's a puppy. Oh, somebody else's puppy. And she looked at what she had around her, and it was her old flute making material. Okay. I was going to avoid showing somebody else's face who might not want to be filmed. And all she had was her flute making material. So she sat down and she started making flutes again. And by the end of the day, she had made a flute for every single person in that town, and she just handed them to everybody. And she went home, and she went back to her aunt and uncle's farm, and she went to the spot where she had once dug a large hole, and she started digging. And she started digging, and she started digging, and she didn't stop. And finally, she got to the same depth that she had been to when she was a child, the depth at which point she could no longer climb out of the hole. And that's when the earthquake hit. And Marissa didn't know what to do. The ground around her was shaking. The soil was caving in. She dug herself out, but more soil kept falling on top of her. And finally, she managed to climb out of the hole, and she miraculously was not injured. But in that panic, she realized that she cannot be an assassin any longer. She cannot continue down that path. So she stayed in her own hometown, and she made flutes for the people of her village. And that's how she lived the rest of her life.